Now let us delve more into this keyword, which is the class, and a code block which is using the keyword class. Imagine you want to create a Rolls-Royce car. The very first thing that you need to create that Rolls-Royce car is a model or a sketch, or in the very formal terms, blueprint. Why? Because this will have all the details of what the car will look like, what engine does it have, what tires will it get, what is the capacity of the engine that will be manufactured, and what is the comfort level that will be coming with this car. So once you have the model, you can just simply give it to the manufacturing unit and they will create the car. The car will be ready. So the very important thing among all of these was what? The model. You had the model, the creation of the car was super easy. If you didn't have the model, the creation was, well, impossible. Why? Because you didn't know what to create. Then what will you create? That's the point. So this model, this blueprint, will sketch all of the details of a car. All the details, and these details will be intrinsic. It will contain how your data will be manipulated, what does this class will contain, and behaviors that this car will possess. Now just imagine one car has ABS and another car doesn't. One has a luxury of the comfort, another doesn't. One has the power steering wheel and the other doesn't. One has hypersonic suspensions and others do not. Why? Because simply the models are different. Simply the how, the what, and the behaviors are different. Okay, we have understood what the class is, how these things are done, how this blueprint contains all the details, and yeah, blah. But why do we need it? Let's see. So we need classes for one purpose and the primary purpose only. Why? To create objects. Well, what is an object? Okay, this term is being heard by the freshers, by the learners, newcomers, by the professionals. They use it every day in their daily life when you are dealing with object oriented programming. What is object oriented programming? Well, if I put it simply, if you have to represent every single thing, or if you have to represent a real object, then how do you do that? Because in traditional languages like C, you cannot represent structures, complex structures like a table, like a bench, like a camera, like a board itself. This paradigm is basically the object oriented paradigm, because if you want to represent a real object, for example, the board that you are seeing, this board is basically an object. But how do you represent this in Java? To do that, you will have to create a blueprint, and that is a class named board. This will have an open curly brace and this will have a closed curly brace. Well, this is the basic structure of how a class named board looks like. When we create a new object, the JVM will read all of this particular class and then it will try to create a new object out of this. Now you have the blueprint. This is the blueprint. Let us see how this blueprint will look like. This board, let us examine this board. Okay, what is the color? It has a color. What does it have? It has a border. What colored ink does it allow to be written in? Black ink. So now, as you can see that we have three properties of this object, which is the board, which we have the color, we have the border, and we have the ink which is being written. Now, what happens when we want to create an object, when we want to create an actual board? Well, what we do is we JVM, instruct JVM to create an object for us. Well, how do we do that? Let's see how we create an object.